One important task that you'll need to do whenever you complete a painting is to get a good quality photograph of the piece. You'll want this for basic record keeping, for entering shows, to show family and friends, or maybe for an eventual website. There are many uses. One option is to hire a professional fine art photographer, especially if you want to make prints of your work. This can get fairly expensive, but for Z-Clays or standard print production, it's probably a good idea. If it's mostly for publicity needs, then you can probably get away with taking the photos yourself, as long as you take some precautions. The objective is to get a clear, isolated, and color-accurate photo. Now, because there are so many different cameras out there, including various smartphone cameras, I'm going to give you some general guidelines and then show you how I usually take images of my work. Keep in mind that there are many ways to accomplish this task. Other artists may have other methods, especially if they're very skilled at photography. But these tips should help you get the photograph that's needed. Number 1. No matter what camera you use, set it to the largest file it can accept. You can see mine goes up to 20 megabytes per image. Number 2. Try to photograph your work prior to framing or varnishing it. This will help you avoid shadows and glare. 3. Make sure your artwork is flat. If it's a work on paper, you may want to tape it to a solid surface, such as a backing board or a piece of foam core. If it's a canvas, make sure the fabric isn't too lax. Use your stretcher bar keys to tighten the material if needed. 4. Choose a bright but overcast day to photograph the work. This allows the clouds to diffuse the sunlight and act as a kind of white box. Natural, diffused sunlight will give you the most even light coverage and the most accurate color representation. We'll discuss indoor photography a little later. 5. Try to take the photo close to noon, as that's when sunlight is its most neutral. If you have a light meter, you can gauge the other times of day where you live. I used a phone app when I did this. Somewhere between 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. gives you light that's neither warm nor cool. 6. If you use your camera's automatic settings, this natural noonday light should work fairly well. If you use a camera where you can adjust what's called white balance, select a cloudy day setting or auto, or use a light meter like the app that I have to determine the Kelvin, and then set your white balance to that. Kelvin is the scale used to determine how warm or cool a light is. 7. Be aware that the colors around you can cause reflective light on your painting. If you see this happening, you can lay it flat on the ground if it's safe, for example, a clean deck or a patio surface, or lay down a piece of white foam board to sit between the painting and the colored object. Neutral gray board may be better if you notice a glare off of the white surface. 8. Whenever possible, use a tripod or phone stand to give you the sharpest image. You need to keep your camera still. If you hold the camera, just try your best to be still. You could try resting your arm on or against a solid object as a support to steady yourself. Also, beware if there's wind. It's best to account for that when you place the piece. I have had a painting get blown over. 9. Line up the camera straight in front of the artwork and far enough to get the entire painting in your viewfinder. Number 10. Try to avoid zooming in and out all the way. Aim for a middle zoom setting. If you use a smartphone, try not to zoom much at all. 11. If your camera has the capability, apply a grid to your viewfinder to help you line up your painting squarely. Check the settings of your phone app if you use a phone camera. 12. Make sure there aren't subtle shadows being cast onto the painting by elements around you. 13. Some people like to include a gray card, white card, or a Kodak card next to the painting for reference when adjusting colors and values on their computer. It's optional. 14. Take multiple images, as you sometimes can't accurately gauge results through your camera window. Also, try placing it in different directions under the cloudy sky. Sometimes one direction works better than another. And 15. You may want to move your camera close to the painting and take a few close-up images of the painting's surface in case a show or gallery requests that. Choose an interesting part of the painting for this shot. Some online galleries also like to give patrons photographs of the artwork edges as well as the entire unframed piece of art in the context of a room or environment. This helps potential buyers get a better feel for the painting size and the painting surface. If you prefer or need to take photographs indoors, try to use even, temperature-neutral lighting. Perhaps use a light meter app to gauge the color temperature, as I mentioned earlier. And then, if your camera allows, adjust your camera to that color temperature. And never use your flash. If you have auto white balance, you can choose the matching setting or use auto. I've never actually liked taking photographs of my work indoors, so I don't feel I'm the best one to offer advice in this regard, but I'll provide some helpful links in the related handout in case this interests you. I did find that laying my painting near an open door on a bright, cloudy day did fairly well. As I mentioned in the beginning, another option is to hire a professional photographer. Keep in mind that they usually prefer to shoot a minimum number of paintings, perhaps 15 or 20. You can save up your work until you have their required number, or maybe ask a friend to split the photo shoot. Once you have the photos, you'll need to transfer the images to the desktop or mobile device where you do most of your digital work. We'll discuss photo editing in the next lecture.